Hey folks, this is HB from Penny Pincher Productions, and welcome to my very first installment of HB's Real Reviews, where I take it upon myself to sit through theatrically released films, both the good and the potentially painful, in order to see if it's worth a pretty penny. I can't wink. Funny enough, even though this is my very first episode, this is going to be a very special one because this is going to be a double feature! That's right, for my very first episode, I'm going to be looking at two movies that were released within a week from each other, but not that far off. With that said, let's begin with our very first film, The Witch. Taking place in 1630s New England, William and Catherine lead a devout Christian life, homesteading on the edge of an impassable wilderness with 5 children. When their newborn son mysteriously vanishes and their crops fail, the family begins to turn on one another. The Witch is a chilling portrait of a family unraveling within their own fears and anxieties, leaving them prey for an inescapable evil. First things first, gonna come out and say it, this is a great film, okay? It's pretty easy to tell why it's won so many film festival awards, including Best Director at the Sundance Film Festival. Sundance! The direction was great, the cinematography was really good, and the art direction and the production value is like really good because you could tell this is a real dark and gloomy place that really sets up the tension and the dread that awaits our characters. The story and the screenplay is really good. It was brilliantly crafted, and it becomes like one of the most unique horror films to come out in recent years in terms of theatrically released ones. You see, because with horror movies nowadays, such as Insidious and bullshit schlock like the remake of Poltergeist and Sinister Number 2 or whatever they call it, that rely just way too much on jump scares, The Witch relies heavily on suspense, and Jesus Christ was it suspense. Probably the best thing about the suspense in The Witch is that it builds up to not so much jump scares, but more into scares that are beyond disturbing and even make audience members feel uncomfortable. Just a heads up, this is not the kind of film that really pulls any punches on what they will or won't show on camera. And it easily takes audience members out of their comfort zones, and to be honest with you, it should. Horror is not supposed to make you feel comfortable. Horror is supposed to be scary. Horror is supposed to represent death and just the overall feeling of dread and not feeling safe. Horror movies should end bittersweet at best. And just speaking on my personal opinion, The Witch pretty much hits those marks pretty damn good. The acting is also top notch, even for the kid actors who are usually poison when it comes to acting natural in these type of movies. Despite veteran actors Ralph Ineson and Kate Dickie leading the family troupe, it's the eldest daughter Thomasin, played by Anya Taylor-Joy, who leads the screen as the daughter who is starting to become a woman, who is often accused of being responsible for the family's struggles and terrors. Elder young brother Caleb, played by Harvey Scrimshaw, also pulls off a stellar performance during one particular scene that I won't spoil for you here, but I will say that when it's his time to shine, he is extremely passionate with every line of dialogue spoken. Now, at most, I only have 2 minor negative things to say about this film, and believe me when I say they are really minute at best. One of those negative things being the dialogue itself. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad thing, but 90% of the time, I really didn't understand what these people were saying. You know, you also got to bear in mind that this movie takes place in the 1630s, where everyone speaks with older English, modern English, I forget which one. I'm pretty sure some brainiac out there is going to tell me otherwise. They kind of speak things like, let me make an example. Learneth thou speakest righteous you repugnant douchebag. If. Now, another tiny negative aspect that me personally I don't have a problem with, but I can understand most other people might, is simply this. If you're one of those casual horror fans that wants to see these action-packed scares like all around, you know, just your heart beating like for every single frame of film that comes on the screen, you're gonna be in for a slight disappointment. I mean, as I said before, this is a completely different kind of horror movie, which is more than what the casual fan is accustomed to nowadays. Because from the very get-go, the movie itself is a real slow burn. Seriously, take it from me, even though there are many slow parts, the way it builds up the suspension, the payoff is ultimately worth it. Despite those two little negative things, overall, this is a fantastic movie, and honestly, if you're in the mood for something different, I recommend you go see it right now. Now, for my final rating, I'm doing this on a 5-point system, okay? You know, Siskel and Ebert usually do 2 thumbs up. Most people rate it with stars or smiley faces or just say good, maybe, bad, stuff like that. Me? Why not pennies? And for my very first overall score for my very first film review, I am giving The Witch 4.5 out of 5 pennies. Welcome back, and next up on the chopping block, we got the action suspense cop thriller, 999. In this film, a crew of dirty cops is blackmailed by the Russian mob to execute a virtually impossible heist. The only way to pull it off is to manufacture a code 999, which is police code for officer down. Their plan is turned upside down when the unsuspecting rookie they set up to die foils the attack, triggering a breakneck, action-packed finale filled with double crosses, greed, and vengeance. Now, first off, I'm going to say that they've rounded up a pretty stellar cast with the likes of Casey Affleck, Anthony Mackie, Aaron Paul, Norman Reedus, Woody Harrelson, and an almost unrecognizable yet sinister Kate Winslet. Pretty much each and every one of these actors and actresses own the screen by their own right, and it's pretty good when you consider they're working with a less than stellar script. And to me, that is where the biggest issue with this movie lies. It's the story. Now, don't get me wrong, when you read the plot synopsis, it sounds pretty good on paper, right? You know, it sounded pretty good when I read it off the computer when I just came up with it myself. Well, think about what I said in that plot earlier. Remember that part I said about them pulling off the 999? It takes them an hour and a half to get to that point. The script almost comes off as having ADD because we end up having so many pointless scenes that come off as a bit of a time waster. I could point out so many scenes that could have been cut out to A, save the 1 hour 55 minute runtime, and B, actually flesh out the plot a little better. I mean, hell, the part of the screw up with the rookie foiling their plans, that could have filled up enough runtime on its damn own. But yet they choose to save that for the last 20 or 30 minutes of the film, and it's not even pulled off very well. I mean, granted, yeah, there were some moments of suspense, but let me reclarify that. Some moments of suspense. It's not enough to fill up a movie that's meant to be suspenseful. And one of the biggest problems I have is, I should probably issue a spoiler alert, so I'm gonna let you guys know, if you don't want to know the spoiler, please skip to, I guess, this timestamp that I'm gonna put down on the bottom of the screen. I don't know. But please skip ahead here, and I will get to the spoiler in 3, 2, 1. Skip ahead if you don't want spoilers. Okay, so for most of you Daryl Dixon fangirls that came to this movie wanting to see Norman Reedus in action and with a combed hair, you're going to be in for a bit of a disappointment. Dead in the first 15 minutes. But no, don't get me wrong. Norman Reedus getting killed off isn't my issue. It's the way he's killed off is the biggest problem that I have, and it's been like a nagging little plot hole that's been bothering me throughout the entire film while I was just trying to sit there and enjoy it. Okay, so this crew of dirty cops, they originally were not going to take this new job because they want what they were owed. They were promised that the previous job from before was going to be their last one, and then they were going to be set free. But the Russian mob had other plans, and when they refused to do the job, they killed off Norman to send him a message. Okay, let's play out a little scenario, okay? I'm a mob boss, okay? And there's a job that I need pulled off that is, like, beyond the significance of importance. Like, seriously, it needs to be done perfectly without any hint of failure, okay? I hire a crew that I've been using this whole time to pull off this heist because they've done so well since the beginning, okay? Now, they refuse to do it. Now, I'm gonna send them a little message. What sense does it make to kill off one of the crew members to send a message? Wouldn't you need every single member of that crew to do what you want them to do? Does that make any sense at all? And it's not like Norman Reedus' character, who's Russell Welch, was a pointless character. He was extremely helpful at the beginning of the movie where they showed off the first heist that they did. Well, it's not really the first heist, just the first heist in the movie. But he was useful. Each and every member of that team was pretty useful. Well, I mean, except for Aaron Paul, but that's another story. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And the worst part about this is that the bad guys don't even bother explaining why they thought this was a smart idea. This movie fails to really take any risks or chances in telling a unique version of the same dirty cop story that we've seen 100 times before. And if you ask me, while I love this cast and they do an amazing job with what very little they had to work with, if you want to see a great dirty cop movie with a stellar cast, just watch The Departed. Way better. I mean, if you've already seen that, well, watch it again. For the most part, I was bored watching that movie. And I shouldn't be bored. Overall, 999 gets a 2 pennies out of a possible 5. Now, before I let you guys go, here's a quick recap. Now, for The Witch, the pros are great acting, the atmosphere was beyond amazing, the suspense was chilling, which led up to very disturbing scares, and it's one of the most unique theatrically released horror films to date. The downside is the modern English is a little difficult to understand. The build-up is a mildly too slow burn for casual horror fans, but honestly, that's about it. 999 gets a 2 out of 5 pennies and only 2 points just for the stellar cast and the decent suspense, but pretty much fails to hit its mark with its shoddy plot, crappy villain logic, and, to be honest with you, a completely forgettable experience. Whew! I finally made a show. Now, before I go, a little message to all you parents out there. Please, be responsible. Stop bringing your kids into R-rated films. Okay? Again, thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. And also subscribe to my production site, Penny Pincher Productions, which I will also put a link down in the description. At some point, I'm going to be merging those two YouTube channels together. And this video itself will end up on that channel within the next couple of weeks. And once I get enough subscribers, I'll be moving all the videos from my HB's World channel over to my Penny Pincher Productions channel. So be sure to hit the subscribe button down below, and be sure to subscribe to Penny Pincher Productions for plenty of content. And be sure to let me know how I'm doing, because I'm in unfamiliar territory here. In fact, this is my first written thing I've ever done. There are several times when I had to keep looking at my computer down here, and hell, I was reading the plot synopsis off my damn phone. So again, thank you for watching, and I really hope I see you guys again soon.